Yo, what's going on, good people? Today is today is Monday, September 1st, 2025. Today is Labor Day. You're on with an episode of The Bridge, special edition, Labor Day edition of The Bridge, the segment I would like to call Monday Morning Quarterback. Basically, where I'll be breaking down the scores of the weekend starting this Monday today. And every Monday I will be breaking down the college football scores as well as the NFL scores for most of the games that come on. It's in the afternoon, so it's a special Labor Day edition. But normally this segment will be Monday morning from 10:30 a.m. until 11 a.m. So just breaking down the scores of college football and the NFL season. We all know the first weekend of the season in college football is mostly tune-up games. So a lot of the scores, it isn't really no need for me to talk about because you got a lot of people beating teams 55-7, 66-7. It was just lopsided scores, but you did have Showdown Saturday that took place in college football where some upsets did take place between some highly ranked teams. First, I want to start off from Thursday night. South Florida defeated Boise State because Boise State was ranked number 7. It was kind of lackluster for the most part. Both teams were kind of going back and forth. Both teams were trying to find their rhythm and trying to find their footing. But South Florida did get the win 34-7 over Boise State. Boise State was ranked number 25. A fake punt took it in for a TD. Byron Brown, he had 43 yards rushing and 2 TDs on that game for the win for South Florida. Friday scores, we had Nebraska defeating Cincinnati 20-17 in a very tight, close game. Georgia Tech defeated Colorado 27-20. Despite 3 turnovers that the Yellow Jackets gave to the Colorado Buffaloes, Colorado was not able to capitalize on the post-Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter era under Coach Primetime Deion Sanders. So Georgia Tech took that win 27-20 over Colorado. Saturday scores. Another Friday night score I wanted to get into real quick. Auburn defeated Baylor 38-24. Quarterback Jackson Arnold rushed for 137 yards and 2 touchdowns. And probably one of the best plays of the game came from Rashawn Pleasant. It was a pleasant surprise for the Auburn Tigers, I know that much, because definitely a pleasant surprise because he took a kickoff return back for 98 yards for a touchdown. Saturday games, of course, we all know that the great Lee Corso, that was his final headgear pick that took place in Columbus, Ohio, at the University of Ohio State University's campus. And I believe he was perfect in every pick that he chose, including the Ohio State, which probably was one of the game of the day, because Texas was ranked number 1. Arch Manning he was getting a start. To be expecting when you go into Columbus, what his day looked like, being it's your first start on the road against the defending national champions. He had 170 yards, 1 touchdown. But Ohio State's defense they controlled the entire game. They were the ones that were in charge of that game. And so Texas was ranked number 1, but they got knocked down by Ohio State by a score of 14-7. A lot of people had Arch Manning as possibly Heisman candidate choice. I think it was too early. I understand the reasoning because of the last name, the pedigree, the bloodline. Manning, he's Peyton and Eli's nephew. Archie Manning, that's his grandson. So it's always going to be there. But to say, put that kind of pressure on him from day one, soon as you step into an enemy's territory, if there is an enemy's territory, and expect him to go out there and just light it up, nah. But I do think he will progress. I do think that he will get better as the season goes along. But it was a tough outing. So another game a lot of people was talking about, Florida State against Alabama. Florida State 31, Alabama 17. It is safe to say that Bama is not the same. People Johnny Manziel was on the Nightcap with Shannon Sharp and Ocho Cinco, and he was basically saying that no one's scared of Alabama anymore, and that is true. Alabama is not the same since Nick Saban has left that program, and I think it's pretty safe to say that a lot of people would agree with me on that. I get it. Everything about the University of Alabama, the last 15 plus years, they have been the program in the country. Roll Tide this, Roll Tide that. I get it. I'm from Mississippi, but a lot of people from Mississippi are huge Alabama fans. They love Alabama. My cousin Tony, he was born and raised in Mississippi, but he lives in Chicago. He loves Alabama. Has Alabama decals on his car, jackets, scarves, the whole 9 yards. But one thing most Alabama fans have to understand is this. Nick Saban looks very comfortable on the sidelines commentating with ESPN on College Game Day. He's not coming back on the sideline as a coach. He's not walking back through that door to come coach the Tide. And a lot of people are not afraid of Alabama anymore. 6 national championship under Nick Saban, I get it. I understand that. T-Town, Title Town, I get that and understand that. But it's definitely not the same Bama that it was under Nick Saban, and that is obvious. Florida State, and me being a Miami Hurricane fan, when Florida State is rolling and when Florida State has confidence, and especially playing in Tallahassee, when that crowd gets the chop going and you hear them constantly, oh, it is something to deal with, and they had momentum from jump. They jumped on Bama. It was pretty much smash mouth football from what I saw. 4 rushing touchdowns by the quarterback, by the running back. Alabama looked like they just could not get their game together. And it's safe to say Johnny Manziel was right. People are not scared of Alabama anymore. They are not scared of them. And Alabama, this is going to be a trying time because a lot of people want the head coach gone. I saw on social media people were saying, please, Nick Saban, please come back. Please come back and coach this team. We're not the same. But with that coach now, I saw that Paul Feinbaum was saying that if they wanted to get rid of the coach that's there now, it's going to be like a $76 million buyout to get rid of him. Now, he also brought up a great point that Jimbo Fisher, when he was bought out, Texas A&M, it was like $75 million. But anybody that knows anything about Texas, they are famous for what? Oil and cattle. They got money. It is money as long as train smoke. That $70 million would hurt if they had to just give it away just to tell him to go away. But point being, Alabama football is not the same without Nick Saban. And that's just it started last year and it's continued into this year. So maybe I know you got Roll Tide Willie out there who likes to say they don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide. But Tide fans need to realize you're not the same, especially that Nick Saban is not on the sidelines. Another game I wanted to get into, LSU and Clemson, the Battle of the Tigers, the Battle of the Death Valley, because their stadiums are both known to be called Death Valley. I did not realize this was the LSU beat Clemson 17-10. This was the first time that this was the first time in 6 years that LSU won their opening game. And for Brian Kelly, he needed that win. He needed that win desperately because he's been the coach there now, 3 or 4 years, and he had been 0-3. So to get that win in Clemson on the road, opening weekend, was huge for that program. So LSU Tigers have the bragging rights of the Death Valley because they went to that Death Valley and got the victory. So you go in anybody's stadium and get the bragging rights, you get the right to be choose to call that stadium Death Valley. Another game I wanted to get into real quick, South Carolina versus Virginia Tech. It was kind of nip and tuck. It was kind of tight. And then Victor Vicarious Swain broke the game open with an 88-yard punt return for a touchdown. And it kind of gave South Carolina the momentum that they need. And they went on and got the victory 24-11 against Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech, they got a safety, and then it led to 3 field goals after that. And it's just like field goals are not going to get it, especially when a team is able to get touchdowns. And it's just, Yeah, but you can tell once that punt return happened, and then they threw a long pass to Noah Sellers. He had 209 yards, 1 rushing touchdown, 1 passing touchdown. A lot of people think he could be the favorite for the Heisman this year. He could be the one that could very well be the #1 pick as in the 2026 draft. A lot of people have pegged him that because from what they seen last year, and he starting this year off on a good note. So South Carolina gets that win against Virginia Tech 24-11. And the nightcap last night, my Miami Hurricanes, them Canes, that's right. In a game that shouldn't have been as close as it was, but hey, Notre Dame, give them credit, they fought back. But last second field goal, Miami takes the victory 27-24. Carson Beck looks solid, coming back from his injury. CJ Carr is going to be that dude. He's going to be that dude for Notre Dame. Thank you, baby. My beautiful daughter coming in. Carson Beck looks solid coming from his injury. CJ Daniels had the catch of the year in my book already in week 1. The receiver Brown III from Florida, he had one against Long Island, and both of them were kind of like Odell Beckham-ish, where they reached their hand behind the head and snatched it in for the touchdown. But CJ Daniels and the kid Brown from Florida, it was kind of similar, very similar in the way that they caught the touchdowns. So both of them could be definitely could be candidates for catch of the year already in week 1. But the Miami Hurricanes defensive line, interceptions, fumbles, getting 2 sacks at the end of the drive. That's what closed it out, and that's what sealed the victory for my Miami Hurricanes. Star-studded event, yeah. Of course, you had the former Canes, Michael Irvin, Ray Lewis was there, head coach Jimmy Johnson was there. Stephen A. Smith was in the house. He was rooting for the Canes, so definitely star-studded event. Definitely looking forward to this season with Carson Beck and the rest of the team. It's gonna be a good outing. It's gonna be a good outing for my Hurricanes this year. I think so. Tonight's nightcap will be Bill Belichick's debut as the head coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels in Chapel Hill, taking on TCU tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern time. Of course, we all know the success that he had in the NFL, 2 Super Bowl rings with the Giants as a coordinator. Then, of course, he won 6 with the as the head coach of the New England Patriots. But his college coaching debut with North Carolina, his father's where his father used to coach at. So definitely looking forward to that. This is September 1st. NFL season starts Thursday. My Dallas Cowboys will be here in Philadelphia, where I live, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, to take on the Philadelphia Eagles. Of course, the Eagles get their rings, they get the banner, the trophy, the whole 9 yards, and taking on the Philadelphia Eagles post Micah Parsons, because we all know he got traded to the Green Bay Packers. So week 1 of the NFL season is getting ready to start. This is September, what I like to call September separator in baseball, because this month teams are really starting to get their push in for the postseason to get ready for playoffs in baseball. So this is definitely my favorite time of year. Football is back in full swing. But this is what I like to call Monday Morning Quarterback Special Labor Day Edition. Like I said, check out the channel, subscribe, like it. This will be a segment that I'll do every Monday morning around 10:30 a.m., between 10:30 and 11 a.m., giving my opinion about scores, highlights from college and NFL. So like and subscribe, check it out. I appreciate it. And you guys have a good the rest of your holiday. Stay safe, and I'll get at you guys next time. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Talk with you again soon. Peace.